Family reunions are supposed to be warm, right? Full of laughter, hugs, and endless plates of food. A time to share memories, reconnect, and feel the bond of blood. But for me, last month's gathering was anything but that. The moment I walked into the compound, I felt it. The eyes. My cousins whispered, my aunt chuckled, and even some of my uncles smirked. Why? Because of the scar running across my cheek. It wasn't new. I'd lived with it since a childhood accident. Long before I understood what shame was. Yet somehow, no matter how many years passed, it always became the centerpiece of my family's jokes. "Ah, look who's here, our scar-faced scientist." One cousin, Jared, making the others roar with laughter. "Who will marry you with that face?" An aunt added coldly, her voice cutting through the noise like a blade. Another cousin slightly lifted his phone, snapping photos when he thought I wasn't watching. I forced a polite smile and made my way to a quiet corner. But inside, their words landed like stones. They didn't know that while they spent years mocking the surface, my life was quietly being built on something far greater. Halfway through the reunion, when food was being served and the conversations grew loud, one of my older uncles decided to make me his target. He leaned back in his chair, eyes fixed on me, and with a mocking grin said, "So, young lady, what do you even do with yourself these days? Or are you still experimenting in your room?" I took a deep breath, rose from my seat, and let my voice carry through the room. "I'm currently working at the National Scientific Institute," I said firmly. I was just promoted as their youngest scientist. My team is leading research in sustainable energy systems. And suddenly silence. The air grew heavy. Forks froze midway. My cousins who had laughed the loudest now stared at me with mouths half open. The aunt who mocked me looked as though she had swallowed her words. Even my uncle blinked in disbelief, his smugness fading into hesitation. "Wait, you mean the institute? The government one?" he asked carefully. "Yes," I answered. "And just this year, I have been published twice. Our research was even featured in an international journal." No one spoke. For the first time that day, my scar was invisible to them. What had always been their favorite target no longer seemed to matter. Respecting with shames slowly replaced the mockery in their eyes. As the evening ended, people began leaving in groups. One cousin, the very one who had called me scar-faced, approached quietly. His voice, once sharp and taunting, was now low and almost apologetic. "I didn't know," he said, avoiding my gaze. "Congratulations. Really, I didn't gloat." Nor did I remind him of his cruelty. I simply smiled, not out of pride, but out of peace. That night, as I walked away from the reunion, my head was higher than it had ever been. My scar still rested on my cheek, but it no longer felt like a flaw.